Hello everyone watching on Twitch, and hello everyone watching on YouTube. We're on Twitch on the Genevieve channel right now, and we're going to do a So You Want to Play Italians, which will be played later on, potentially as part of the offline content for the subathon that we're hosting next week as well. If you're watching on the subathon, it's happening right now, and if you're watching on YouTube, we might still be live on Twitch with a I should say massive stream on Twitch, so be sure to check us out in the link in the description. But that's pretty much everyone, so hello to everyone there. And we're going to be doing a So You Want to Play Italians, once I find them. There it is, Italians. So we want to play Italians, and if you guys aren't familiar with the series it's pretty much me going in-depth on a civilization. Today we're going to be doing the Italians once again. Both a theoretical and practical approach. We're going to see the ins and out of it with the tech tree, seeing what they can go for in theory, and then we're going to play a game on the ranked ladder against a top-level opponent and seeing what the Civ has to offer in practice, and then comparing both the practical side of things and the theoretical side of things. Damn, I'm getting good at talking these intros. All right. So Italians, what do they specialize in? Now, they say it's an archer and naval civilization, but I will actually say that they're quite underrated on the land maps in my opinion as well, and we'll obviously be trying to play them on Arabia just to showcase them on some very popular maps here. So if you're playing on the water, one of the better civs there, highly recommend it. On land, what do they have for their bonuses? So their first bonus is that they advance to the next age costs minus 15%, so you save food and gold in some cases as well. Next up, we got the dock and university technologies costing minus 33%. That's going to help you on water, but also helps you on land with ballistics, chemistry, getting cheaper discounts there, and potentially masonry later in the game. And then you got fishing ships costing minus 15%, helping the water out. And then finally, gunpowder units costing minus 20%. That's really good for bomber cannons on Arabia, for example, but it could also be good for their hand cannoneer in some cases as well. Next up, we've got the unique unit, which is the Genevieve Crossbow, which is an archer unit that counters cavalry. We'll talk about that later. And the Condottiero, which think about it like a champion kind of unit or like a berserk kind of unit, but it's kind of weak stat-wise, but you don't have to get any upgrades for it, and you just go right into that. For the unique text, we've got the Pavis, which gives foot archers +1 armor and +1 pierce armor, which also applies to Condottiero. I think that applies to skirmishers, but I'm not 100% sure. And then we have Silk Road, which makes trade units cost minus 50% resources. So that's a nice little bonus for team games. Not going to help for 1v1s though. And then finally, the team bonus is that Condottiero are available in the barracks in Imperial Age, which is a team bonus. So for you and all your allies. So that's good. Let's take a look at the tech tree here and see what they have to offer. So the Archery Range right off the bat here. Archery Range is very solid. You've got Arbalest and you've got hand cannoneers that are cheaper. Skirmishers, archers are probably the only position that are kind of lacking in. So I'd say their Archery Range is pretty solid. You'll probably want to go for those guys at some point in the game. And then they have a really good barracks as well, with champions upgraded to the max and pikemen, so only missing halbs. But then they also have the Condottiero that can be a nice little power spike and imp, especially against Eagle Warrior civs. Or maybe against Goths, for example. Next up, you've got the Stable, which is actually better than some people think it might be. Fully upgraded Hussar and fully upgraded Cavalier, a very, very strong stable. Only missing Paladin and the regional unique units, but we don't really care about those half the time anyways. For their siege, I'd say they're pretty mediocre, but their bomber cannon are pretty cheap. They're 20% cheaper, so it makes them more affordable and easier to spam them up in the late game as your main tool for siege. So I'd recommend this being your main tool. For their blacksmith, they're one of the few civs that get all the upgrades in there, so it's a very, very nice civ in that regard. It lets you, stay flexible and always adapt to what your opponent's doing. Their navy is obviously very strong. We'll skip right along there though. They have all the upgrades, so we don't have to really worry about it. Only missing heavy demo ship. We all know how strong Italians are in the water. University, the main thing they're missing is siege engineers, but they do get bomber tower and all building upgrades. And then finally at the castle here, Elite Genovese Crossbowmen, this is their cost. They produce mediocrely fast, so moderately fast. And this unit is only really good against cavalry. So if you're against cavalry, opt for this one. If you're against anything else, go for the regular Arbalest. You'll have better success. And then moving on to their Monastery here, they're very strong on Monastery. So Redemption, Sanctity, and Block Printing are all good. Notable to say that no heresy against other monk civs. And, well, Eco can't complain there at the end. Fantastic. So we now know that archers are pretty much a go-to for Italians since they get the unique tech for it, full tech tree for Arbalest, but they can also do cavalry quite well, and their infantry isn't too shabby as well. And I think the main bonus for Italians to make use of is saving resources advancing to ages, which lets you get better uptimes and kind of make use of those power specs a little bit more. So keep your mind open with Italians, and let's hop into the queue here and see what we can find. During the queue, I'll answer questions that we're going to see in the Twitch chat here on the Genevieve channel, so feel free to ask some questions here, and I'll answer any question about Italians, just to fill the time and get us a little bit of extra content there for the viewers. Okay, fantastic. Looks like everything is good on my end. Yep, good stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the theoretical approach. I think the main thing to take away though is just to keep myself as flexible as possible, and the late game composition should be Arbalest, Hussar, and Bomber Cannon if I can. If I can't get to that, then I'll try something else pretty much. What civ best counters Italians? I think Italians are one of those civs that's not the most powerful civ. So any civ with a really strong early game eco bonus and a civ that can kind of overpower them early or in Castle Age can be really good against Italians. Why you said condotieros don't need upgrades? For example, the champion, you need to upgrade men at arms, then long swordsman, and then 200 swordsman, and then finally champion. Condotiero, you don't have an elite upgrade for it. It just starts at its base stats. So obviously you need to upgrade it like squires, like the blacksmith upgrades, but you don't need to upgrade the actual unit. How viable are Genevieve crossbowmen? Their biggest weakness is the fact that they only have 4 range, but they do a lot of damage to cavalry units. So against something like Persians, which most of their army is cavalry, Genevieve crossbows are very good. Hankinir are their best for elite eagles or Condottiero. Condottiero could be very good as well against elite eagles. Do they get help? No help. How do you recommend playing against an elite straight archer civ? With Italians, so let's say you're playing Italians against Britons, I would recommend you try to play Knight Skirm against them because you have full upgrades for Knights and Skirmishers. And in the late game, you have cheaper bomber cannons that could be pretty helpful. And you can play with like Hussar Skirm, maybe some Arbalest as well. Is it common to use Condottiero against Turks, Janissaries, or Elites, or Skirms are enough? Condottiero against Turks, Janissaries, I think Skirms are probably better, Skirms or Arbalest, but Condottiero can be okay against them because they do get some resistance, or they are a bit resistant to gunpowder. I forgot to mention that in the tech tree. In which phase of the game do Italians shine? Italians shine every time they can advance to the next age. Because Feudal Age, they get there with 75 food to spare. Castle Age, they're saving now like another 150 to 200 resources, advancing to Castle Age. So every time there's a new age, that's kind of where they shine. They have good power spikes. And their late game is also very good, honestly. Full upgraded Hussar and full upgraded Arbalest. Potential for Genevieve's crossbow with an extra armor on the Arbalest is pretty good. For playing Knight Skirm, should I open Scouts? Yeah. So against pure archer civs like Ethiopians and Britons, where you don't want to play archers against them, consider going Scouts opening, then play Skirmishers, and then play Knights and Skirms in Castle Age. No problem there. You could also open Men at Arms and play Skirms after that. That works too. When to start switching to Genoese? You can start switching to Genoese, I would say probably mid-castle. So you open Crossbow most of the time, and then you just switch to Genoese instead of adding more ranges on the way up to Imp, or when you start thinking about Imp, get a couple castles down and start making the Genoese. Fun fact, condos are anti-gunpowder, but not anti-sling gear. Okay, in the rare case where that will help you, there you go. If you go Malay, Drush FC, what sort of Viscount? That's not an Italian question. That's not we don't deal with that. Only questions on Italians. Do you recommend 1TC fast ARB? I think 2TC might be better, but 1TC could be good because it makes use of the power spike for Italians with the cheaper up, so it sounds good in theory, but I think 2TC might be a bit more viable there for you. How can Ethiopian be beaten by a civ with generic archers? You just play other things. You don't play archers versus Ethiopians. You can play like, I don't know, Knight Skirm, like I said earlier, or pure Knight Siege. Do you mix the Genoese with normal expos? I think you either go for one or the other because they have different purposes and different range, so it's very awkward to micro them together. Would you cut 1 or 2 builds with Italians to go faster? Whenever you can afford it, as usual. Pretty much that. Is it viable to go Genoese versus archers? You're lacking a range even when you have the elite upgrade, so I don't think it's a good idea. Genoese are really only good against cavalry, in my opinion. Cost of Genoese versus Arbalest? Genoese cost a bit more wood, but they're about the same. Very similar there. And the biggest cost of the Genoese is an indirect cost. It's the fact that you need castles to make them. That's the biggest downside to Genoese overall. How much resources do you acquire to click up for Italians? So I think, my knowledge is coming to play here. You save 15%. So you save 75 food for the first click, then the castlage costs you 680 food and I think 180 gold or something like that. If my math is probably not, maybe 160 gold. Yeah, 160 gold I think is more accurate. So 160 gold, 680 food, and then imp, who knows, 15%. Oh no, it would be 165. 160 would be 20%. Is unique tech worth it? The unique tech that gives you extra armor on your archers is worth it, but only in the late game. But it definitely is worth it. Can you do a super fast feudal, something like 18 pop scouts? You can, but it's like you're only saving 75 food, so I don't think you can, like, I don't know if you'd be able to afford too many scouts, to be honest. I'd rather just do a standard 20 pop fast feudal age, and then just go scouts and have that extra 75 food to get like a smoother economy going. Isn't early imp cavalier very dangerous for Italians, and if so, what can you do against it? You can easily go pikes if you want. You can go pike arbalest. Usually you're gonna be the guy that's faster to imp because your imp costs less. So yeah, I don't think they're balanced A tier save. I think they're more around B or C tier. I'm kind of talking them up a little bit because I'm shining on their good points, but their biggest weakness is they don't have really good consistent eco bonus throughout the game. Sorry, I'm new. Is this Hera? This is absolutely Hera. What's up, Natcher? Long queue? Yeah, we'll see who we get. Hopefully a good player here. But I'm glad we were able to fill the queue with some good Q&A here. If MBO is coming after you with 50 elephant archers, what would be your defensive strategy as Italians? I'd go after him with 50 Genovese crossbowmen. No, make that 100 Genovese crossbowmen because we're cheaper. And I've actually played that matchup against Viper, and I was able to beat him with Genovese crossbow and Hussar. How can I kill in feudal and early castle? Every win or lose is at early imp when trips come out. Well, you just try to learn builders for that, for feudal and castle. That's not on Italians, so I don't want to get into that too much. Well, let's see, so you want to play Italians on water? I do all of the so you want to plays on land, to be fair, but I do mention that they are very good on water. But I do like to make the so you want to plays on land because that's the most popular map, Arabia. If MBO was coming after you with 100 elephant archers, what would be your defensive strategy as Italians? 200 Genovese crossbowmen. Forget about villagers. I think that's pretty much all the questions here, so we're pretty much just stuck waiting for the queue to pop here. Drush FC Genovese against captives are a big no-no. That's kind of a bad strategy. I've tried it a few times. It's kind of a bad strategy. Because if they just go crossbow and castle, they just get, like, Genovese crossbow having 4 range is really bad. Alright, let's hop into this one. We got random map Arabia. Italians coming in strong. And we should be good to go here. Make sure my recording is all good on my end. Yes, because I have to locally record this as well. Very nice. What's my general island strat? You just go, like, make a dock and make a water unit. And then try your best. Okay, Italians versus Celts. Okay. Celts is another one that I have to do a so you want to play for eventually here. Zala Kane. I don't know who this guy is, but we'll try our best here nonetheless. Alright, so we've gone over the theoretical approach for Italians, and the biggest takeaway is to make use of their early castle or early feudal spikes and savings there. And against Celts, if they're going like Hal Bram, I can always go Condottiero. I'm just thinking ahead here. I'm just thinking ahead to the late game if it gets there. But for the time being, what I could easily do is just go for a standard opening where I'm going to drush him. I'm going to attack him with a drush and then go crossbows behind it pretty much. And maybe I'm going to go... So I have the option of going drush into fast feudal or drush fast castle. I like drush fast castle though. I feel like you make use of the savings for Italians a little bit more. So we're going to try and do drush fast castle, but if our map is terrible, then we'll have to adapt and do something else. Okay, enemy 1770 elo, so he's not looking too strong, but I guess the guide will still be solid nonetheless. And a Primo Drush could work for Italians, no problem with it, but I personally am not a huge fan of the Primo Drush because I find it too risky. I'm a player that likes to play as consistent as possible, and for that reason I'm simply going to go for a regular Drush. Even if I don't kill a lot of damage, the strategy is good enough to get me a bit of time, full wall, and then win in castlage pretty much. Okay. Alright, nice. Let's pull in a deer. Just one deer for the road. Then I have to go back to scouting my map. And we'll go 4 on wood, so a pretty standard Drush FC build order. Now, thinking about what Celts can do, and I always recommend to think about the Civ matchup and think about how the game tends to run in the Dark Age, because there's not a lot going on in the Dark Age, so it gives you a lot of time to think and ponder over these things. So I think, Men-at-Arms with Celts makes sense. A Drush from Celts makes sense. A Huanguosh is pretty dangerous as well, but if I go for a fast castle, I should be able to stay safe from that kind of approach from Celts. So that's kind of how I'm thinking about this game so far. And so maybe even against this matchup, we could opt for straight archers here with Italians. But I think I'm going to commit to the Drush FC, or at least the Drush. And I do have forward gold, so I have to worry about that one as well. So this can potentially be a rough game if I cannot protect those golds. So I'll do a house out here. Make sure I'm doing thorough scouting. I'm still missing a good amount of sheep. They're probably cows that are missing. Okay, very nice. Alright. Very nice. So we're gonna go into the mill here as per usual, and gonna try to build in front of these kind of resources to protect them as much as possible from enemy raids and get that wall up. Also helps with vision as well, so it's really just good all around. And bam, all my sheep are in. We can go scout our opponent now. I know where all my golds are, I know where all my stones are, and I found all my sheep and boar, of course. I'm gonna do one last tour here with the sheep. Why not? Get that second boar. Fantastic, fantastic. Alright, pulling that second boar here, and then there's just going to be a house, and then the barracks. Very, very standard things going on here for me. And I like to personally play it as consistently as possible, like I said. And that's why I personally love build orders. I personally love doing strategies that are not too all-in. Although I do like my all-in strategy from time to time. Always gotta catch your opponent off guard. Alright, so now I'm gonna go for the Drush. And Italians can up pretty fast behind it. And I'm probably gonna go true range Expo and Castle as well. I have the opportunity to go for Knights if I need them, because you get Bloodlines and fully upgraded Cavalier, which is insane. So Knights, if I need them, are totally fine. No issues there whatsoever. Let's get a house down here. I guess I'm in a wall like this. I can potentially wall in the scout if he continued there. He didn't. He thought better of it. Ooh. We don't like that, eh? We don't like that at all. Okay, no worries. He now sees that I'm doing a Drush though, and I don't think I'm gonna even bother hiding it here. I think I'm cool with showing that to him. Go with my second lumber camp because I want to do a specific build here where I go 2 ranges, get my militia down. Alright. Okay, he's going to gold pretty quickly, so that might actually be men-at-arms from him. So at that news, I need to make sure I'm fully walled fast. So I'm going to go ahead and full wall this side of the map. You know, with these guys, let's just go ahead and get a house wall. And real quick here, even though that guy's a bit weak, go ahead and full wall that side as well. Just to make sure that I don't get bamboozled by his early men-at-arms. Because if he gets in, that's really problematic. But other than that, it's a pretty standard game here from Italians, and I'll make use of their faster or cheaper uptime to up faster. Cheaper castle age to up faster, get a better uptime, I should say. So I can probably go 30 vills instead of the standard 31. Go 1 more to berries, no problem. Yeah, he's up faster, but I am fully walled, or about to be. Okay, we'll do 1 more, even though I don't think I needed it. I don't think I needed it, but I'll just do 1 more for good measure here. Ooh, gotta be careful. He's got some men-at-arms here by the looks of things. Oh, I'll do no loom actually. That sounds good. I have to fight this though, because he's faster than me. If I can kill a scout, I consider myself pretty happy. I don't think I can though. Oh, he's getting a really good trade here, fellas. He's getting a really good trade there. It's not I micro the fight, though. So now the big danger is if he goes for towers forward. This is how the game developed. And for Drush, he went for men-at-arms. Big danger is if he sends 4 men-at-arms forward and gets a tower on my forward gold, then we can be in a lot of trouble. So we'll have to be able to stay on our toes here, and I'm not going to be afraid to make some adjustments to this build, and maybe even throw down a stable if in case I need some scouts in feudal age here. 2 more farms. Build litter is pretty good. Maybe I upped 1 pop too late though, but we should be okay. And here he comes from where? Just a scout for now. I wish I killed the scout though. And there's the men-at-arms. So now I gotta react. And I went no looms though. This is a very very sketchy situation potentially. Oh, that thing is going down fast, man. Oh no, I'm dead. Oh, this is terrible, guys. I went no loom as well. This is terrible. Okay, I gotta adapt. This is not how you want to play Italians. You don't want to play any stuff like this. So now I have to just adapt here and think of what I can do after. I don't know if I still want to commit to the fast castle. Maybe I'll stay a little bit more in feudal age here. Go for a few skirmishers and archers. Okay, that's one way to do it. Okay. So now let's go back to the gold, if possible. And I kept an open mind there. I mean, I did kind of weasel my way out with some nice quick walls. Gotta give credit to my opponent here for really putting on the pressure. I have to go for the few skirmishers, but I think the thing that won me the game here, or that not won me the game, it's not over, but won me the defense, I should say, is the fact that I kept an open mind and I didn't try to force the fast castle. Because if I tried to force the fast castle, I'd be completely screwed. If he just... Okay, now what I'm going to do is wall this up again. But first I'm going to get this skirms out. If I tried to force the fast castle, I'd just be completely screwed to his men-at-arms and archers for sure. So just stay in field age a little bit longer, no problem. I'll still get castle age faster than him. It's just not going to be as fast as I wanted it to be. I use the skirms now to defend against the archers. He has fletching, so I'm not sure if I win this. Okay. Alright, now I want to make some archers now again. Second range going down. And probably after this one villager, I'll be able to click up and I'll be back in the driver's seat. Maybe one more bill. That'll be good. Why did I make 5 archers though? I'm not sure about that. Yeah. One more bill and I'll be able to click up. So we had a little bit of a scare, but we managed to somehow survive, which I'm happy about. I didn't want to die. No one wants to die. He might harass this area. What we'll do is just run for a house. Yeah, exactly. Okay, fletching coming in now. So again, we're gonna get a faster castle than him. And we have a better overall civ than Celts. He has probably better consistent eco and good siege and infantry, but Italians with arbalest, bomber cannon, and hussar is really good, plus with condottiero to stop help siege pushes. It's really good, generally speaking. You're gonna get all the upgrades I normally would get. And so this ends up being just a pretty regular castle time. Not like a fast castle after a drush. But like I said, we adapted and we are totally fine. Okay, we got one free archer there. And we'll be ready to move out very soon. Once I get to Castle Age, I gotta plan what I want to do. I think maybe even adding a stable might be pretty useful. Because Celts could add siege. Again, I'm just trying to think of the matchup as much as possible. I'm ready to fight here. I'm ready to fight. Let's go. I don't gotta wait till Castle Age. I got more than you. Boom. Maybe a second? No, not quite a second. Could also go just 3 TC right away. Honestly, that might be just the best. I also have option of ballistics. There's so many options here. That's not a good idea from him. He would just lose. Maybe he doesn't mind. I guess it's not the worst thing. The worst thing ever for him. Could also go forward siege myself. See, I got a lot of options. I think the most... Oh, I can't add TCs. I'm missing stone. Okay. Okay, so now I was thinking the most logical is to add TCs. But I can't, because I am missing the stone here. So what I'll do in the meantime is probably make use of the cheaper ballistics and just pick up ballistics. I think that makes some sense. It's just a good upgrade to get in general. If he's got any range units, I'll be able to adapt. I want to keep some defensive units because I really don't know where he's gonna pop out from here. Okay. It's actually so good. The cheaper ballistics is insane, man. What the hell? Alright, I'd like to get another TC, or a TC, first TC here on the gold. Okay, looks like he's doing Knight Siege. Knights for Celts don't scale well, so as long as I don't die, I'll be fine. Do I want to add a stable now? I think I want to add a stable, because I can put a lot of pressure. Yeah, let's do that. I can put a lot of pressure. He has just Knight Siege. Crossbow and Knights is better than that. Let's continue attacking, especially because I have ballistics. I don't even think I need that. We'll see though. Maybe I'll get it, maybe. Keep my mind pretty open about that one. Oh, look for some raids here. Got ballistics, so this should be pretty sweet. One more. Okay, nice. Good dodges from him though. He did a good job dodging. Can I just go for a full push here? He's playing so passive. He's giving me the hill. I'm gonna go take the hill. He's playing very passive. I can just push him here. And Italians are a perfectly fine civ to push with, no problem. I do have extra resources that I saved from a cheaper castle age, so I can use those for a bit of knights and, you know, at this point. No problem at all with that. I'll even get this upgrade. It's just good for late game too. That's another vill I can pick up, that cheaper ballistics. Oh, that's bad. Oh, he's got +2. I gotta back up. I gotta respect this a little bit. Okay, now finally we can add another TC. I don't think Italians are the best 1 TC civ because you don't really get too much savings. I prefer adding eco. Good pick off there. Maybe try to break in here. My plan is just to use this little aggression that I have to put the pressure and then boom behind. If I can get that going, I think I'll be in a good position. Okay, I'll just run away. No bloodlines for Celts. Not too worried about those guys. And 30C exactly where, I'm not sure. think right here makes some sense. Oh, this is so awkward. Here, I guess. I can continue mining some gold though. Mining some stone rather. He might counterattack. I'm gonna go back with the knights. He might counterattack now. Because I don't see his knights anymore. Ooh, that's bad. Yeah, and pushing Celts can be a little sketchy at times as well. Okay. Well, that's a decent trade. He didn't deny my TC, which is kind of what I wanted. To get that TC up. Actually, I don't need a house bill. I have the one on the front. Alright, forward castle is going to be coming out soon. Oh man, that's very, very annoying. Good defense from him though, I gotta say. Always gets to snipe when I'm not looking. I do have the castle now, I do have the position. So I have some good things about this. Despite getting kind of out microed on the defense here. This hill is fantastic for a castle. That hill is just asking for it, eh? I'm gonna send a lot of those there because I can take his gold when I get there. And I can start even saving up for Imperial Age even here. Just because it's so cheap with Italians. You know what I should do? I should just hit the barracks. Keep it simple. Look at that cheap imp. Like, it's just so solid. I'm actually a big fan of Italians, by the way. I know I'm talking them up a lot, but they're not the best of ever, but they're really solid. Underrated for sure. And now my plan is just Arbalest, and then maybe into Hussar. And imp. Forward castle. Shoots? What? Why did it not shoot? Well, in any case, we're good. And I can just take out his town center. And he'll have no answers to my imp now as well. There's no way he can answer this imp. It's simply too quick. With forward castle as well. And other cities can do this just fine, but this is probably the best way to play Italians. Like, I'm not saying they're that special. Other cities can do exactly what Italians do, which is this kind of good crossbow gameplay into a faster imp. But Italians do it very smooth, and you also have this upgrade, which I don't think it's worth it right now, because that is simply cheaper. Maybe I can go in here a little bit. Oh, well, there's a hole there. I think MP would probably just call it. And I have the option of going call it Tiro, but I think Arbalest is just better. Oh, I'm under you. And the GG is called the faster imp into GG. And as you can see, it's pretty much exactly how we talked about it in the theory. Italians shine every time you go to the next stage. In Early Castle, I used the savings. I got faster ballistics. I put the pressure with knights. I got some siege. I was able to boot behind. Then quick boom, and then boom. Faster imp because it's cheaper. And then I'm back in the driver's seat with really good tech, and I'm getting there much faster. So it's just a very, very strong overall well-rounded civ. It doesn't do anything particularly amazing, but it does a lot of little things really well, and it has a good power spike distribution throughout the game. And a very nice game there, Italians versus Celts. GG, well played to my opponent. I think he played pretty well, and obviously he was lower rated, but I think it was still a solid game overall. And despite him having more villagers, it doesn't really matter if we're getting the right power spikes and getting the game closed out. So thanks for watching, everyone, on YouTube, not on the stream, on YouTube, and potentially on the stream that we're going to be having next week, or now if you're watching it there, which is the subathon. I'm going to remind you to sub it up there, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Take care, and bye for now.